Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Orthophilus. Thank you for joining me here live on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. I want to share what really made me a witch. I want to share 3 things that I learned while being a witch and why I continue to this day to be a witch. It's so important in our community of witches to support one another, and that means finding out what drew us to the path of the wise and how it affects us now in our new life as a witch. So go ahead and share this broadcast with a witch or 2 or 3. Tell them that there is a high priestess here in New York. Once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Phoenix, because I really want to connect more with our community of witches, because I feel like the 3 things that made me a witch that I learned by being a witch will definitely be relatable to everyone this broadcast reaches that needs to hear this word. First things first, what is a witch? A witch is a man or woman who does witchcraft. So what is witchcraft? Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change. Why? Because no witch should be going through life the hard way. If you are a witch, your life should not be hard. You should not be struggling. Your life should be prosperous, and you should be living in abundance. Your life as a witch should damn near be perfect. Forget about what other people, especially Christians, say about witches and witchcraft. That witches are going to hell and that witchcraft is evil. They are lying to you. They know you have power. They just never want you to use it to make your life better. And because they want to have more members to their fake ass church. I have always said, as a former Christian myself, as a former devotee of Jesus Christ myself, there is no reason why your pastor has 4 houses, 6 cars, and you live in a fucking cabin. Yeah, it's because you are paying your pastor's bills while you are on your 2nd or 3rd notice. But when you are a witch, you have control over your own life. When you are a witch, you make the rules. When you are a witch, you decide how your life is going to end. When you are a witch, you are 100% responsible for your own life. So number 1 for me, what I learned from being a witch so far, is to always ask for help. If you don't understand something about witchcraft, ask for help. The answer may not always be in a book. You may have to go to a high priestess, high priest, or another witch for the answer. But do not be too proud to ask for help. If you don't know, then you don't know. But you will never know if you don't ask for help. Do not go to someone who is not a witch or a high priestess or a high priest, because only witches understand other witches. A Christian, Muslim, or Jew cannot answer any of your questions if you are a witch. Their fairy tales contains no answers. They cannot help you. You need answers. You need help from a real witch or high priest or high priestess. Why? Because witches understand witches. Don't be afraid to ask for help. No question is stupid or dumb or idiotic, because if you don't know, how can you expect your spells, rituals, hexes, and curses to work? They will not work. Maybe a witch has more experience than you. Maybe a witch, a high priest, a high priestess has the answer that you have been searching for months, for years, for decades. But you relied a little bit too much on books. Now, don't get me wrong, books about witches and witchcraft is great, but there is nothing like actually talking to a real witch, a real high priestess, a real priest, real high priest. There's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. Do not be afraid or embarrassed to ask for help. Witches understand witches. If you want an answer and you can't find it in a book and your intuition is not giving you an answer, maybe the answer lies when you have a conversation with a witch, a high priestess, or a high priest. But do not be afraid to ask for help. That's the first thing I have learned and have carried with me all these years that I have been a witch. Ask for help. The second thing that I have learned so far being a witch is to listen to my intuition. When you become a witch, your intuition is your best friend. When you become a witch, your intuition is your inner compass. It is a witch's personal GPS system. Your intuition will always tell you the truth. You may not always like what your intuition tells you, but it is the truth. When you become a witch, your intuition takes you to being psychic. You just know what the future is going to be, and you are never ever wrong. You just know what the future holds. Why? Because witches work with the energy found in nature. This means that witches are more tuned into nature than anybody else on this planet. I listen to my intuition. When I don't listen, in the past, when I have ignored my intuition, it has always brought me trouble. I have learned to listen to my intuition. Your intuition will never lead you astray. Your intuition will never tell you anything wrong. Your intuition sounds like a small voice that only you can hear. Not in a crazy way, but in a spiritual way. When your intuition is speaking to you, if you are a witch, you have an overwhelming feeling of peace. Especially at times when you know that something big is going to happen in the world and you can't stop it, because who is going to believe a witch? Who is going to believe a witch about a big historical event about to take place? And that's a burden. When you are a witch and become much more intuitive, you know the future. But you can't always share what you haven't shown, because people will not listen to you. But that's fine. You can say, if you want to, you can say what the future will be and just leave it alone. You have done your part. If people want to accept it or not, that's their choice. But witches must listen to their intuition. I have found that with myself and with other witches who listen to their intuition and follows the direction of their intuition, they have the most real, significant, and permanently positive change. Especially with witchcraft, when you are about to do a spell, witches rely strongly on their intuition. Witches rely more strongly on their intuition than their own chosen god or goddess that they are working alongside. So if you don't know what type of spell, ritual, hex, or curse that you should be doing, ask your intuition. Just ask, what spell or ritual or hex or curse should I be doing now to have real, significant, and permanently positive change. And your intuition will tell you what to do. But it's up to you to follow through. It's up to the witch to do real world action. Your intuition can only tell you what you should do, but the decision to actually do it lies on you. Don't be the type of witch that you are psychic, but you refuse to act on what your intuition told you to do, and then wonder why your life is not prosperous. You know why your life is not prosperous. Because you did not act at the time that your intuition spoke to you. If your intuition tells you to go to the store at 2 o'clock in the morning to get ice cream, do it. And then you can later on sort out the why you had to be there at 2 o'clock in the morning to get ice cream. Just do it. I've done it. Your intuition knows before you do. Your intuition is also a way to keep witches safe, because witches are the most targeted people on planet Earth. Witches have a big target on their backs. So our intuition also protects us from danger. Witches are not well received all over the country or the world, wherever you are. We're not the favorite on this planet. So yes, our intuition will warn us of danger, and you better act if you want to stay alive. You better act if you want to stay alive, meaning listening to your intuition when it's time to go. Listening to your intuition when you want to live. Listening to your intuition when you want, finally, for some witches, finally want real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft. That's the second thing I have learned. Listen to your intuition. The third and last thing I have learned from being a witch so far is words matter. When you become a witch, you very quickly realize that words hold power. Words can make things or break things. Witches have to be very careful with their words. They must only speak what they want to see. As above, so below. What you send out with your words will manifest here on earth. When you become a witch, you have got to mind your words. Many times as a witch, you will have to hold your tongue. Words matter. Words are powerful. Witches are only to speak positively. Witches are never to speak negatively about themselves, because that is what they will have. If you speak positively, you will have positivity. If you speak negatively, you will have negativity. When you become a witch, you very quickly, I'm telling you, realize how powerful your words are. Words matter. Words can create or destroy. What are you speaking of? What words are you allowing to escape your lips? What words are you saying about yourself? If you are in a fucked up situation, don't speak about the problem. Speak life after the problem has been solved. So let's say you have a shitty job, and all you talk about is how shitty that job is, and don't replace those words with, I have my own business that is successful. Change the narrative. I'm telling you, witches, if you are in a fucked up situation, no matter how fucked up it is, change the narrative. Speak positively about it. And then do the real world action. When you do real world action, your chosen God or goddess will add their strength to your own efforts. You have got to change the narrative. You have got to change how you speak about yourself. I don't care what sickness you have. You say, I am well. And then you listen to what your chosen God or goddess tells you to do to actually get well. Words matter. Words have creative and destructive power. What are you speaking? Witches have got to be very careful with what they're saying. And also, witches have to be careful of what they're not saying. If your intuition or your chosen God or goddess tells you to say something and you don't, trust me, you will regret it. I just said your intuition would never tell you to say something or do something or be somewhere that would get you in trouble or get you life in prison. Because your intuition is your inner compass. Say the thing. Say the thing that your intuition is telling you. If you feel this unexplainable urge to say something, say it. That is your intuition telling you it has to be said now. It cannot wait. Say it now. Words matter, including what you don't say. Yes, you can regret what you say and what you don't say. You don't want to be on the receiving end of, damn, shit, I should have said this, or I should not have said this. Words matter. Words, witches use words in their spells. When a witch writes their own spells, they are very careful about what they write, because they have to say those words out loud before burning that piece of paper or burying that piece of paper, because it's going to manifest exactly as they spoke it. And when you, let me say this, if you do a spell for happiness, you actually have to sound happy when you say it. Don't sound like, I'm happy. Sound like this instead, I'm happy. Like, you actually have to be happy. Or if you do a curse, you actually have to be angry. Words matter. As witches know more so than anybody else that our words have creative or destructive power. Witches know more than anybody else what you speak is what you will see. So those are 3 things I have learned so far in all of my time as a witch. And I really wanted to share this with our witch community because I know it's going to be relatable to a witch or 2 or 3. And that witch will say, hey, that's me. Hey, now I know why I learned these 3 things tonight. So once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Phoenix, anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches Hecate to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. Thank you for joining me here on this broadcast. Be sure to share this broadcast on your other social media platforms so that I can reach more people in our community. Thank you, witches, and I will speak to you, witches, next time. Bye, everyone.